The biggest mistake that can ruin a relationship. Relationships are a tricky thing. While they bring us closer to one another, they also open us up to potential pain and heartache. The biggest turn-offs in a relationship can be the difference between having a fulfilling partnership or living in misery. We all have our own unique preferences when it comes to relationships, but there are some universal turn-offs that can ruin any future prospects. Whether it's bad communication habits, selfishness, or infidelity, these behaviors can severely damage even the strongest of relationships. Here we will explore the biggest turn-offs in a relationship that can spell trouble for its future. Lack of communication in the relationship. One of the biggest turn-offs in a relationship is a lack of communication. This can be a major issue because it can make it difficult to resolve conflicts, communicate your needs, and feel connected to your partner. If you're not communicating with your partner, it's important to start doing so as soon as possible. It may be difficult at first, but it's worth it to try to improve your relationship. Lack of affection between partner. One of the most common complaints in relationships is a lack of affection. When one partner feels neglected or unimportant, it can be a big turn-off. There are many ways to show affection, and it's important to find what works for both partners. Some people need more physical touch, while others prefer quality time or words of affirmation. Whatever the case may be, it's important to communicate and make an effort to show your partner that you care. If you're not sure how to express your affection, here are some ideas. Compliment your partner often. Kiss them goodbye and hello. Hug them regularly. Make eye contact when you talk. Write them love notes/texts/emails. Infidelity is the biggest relationship killer. There's nothing quite as devastating to a relationship than finding out that your partner has been unfaithful. The sense of betrayal can be all-consuming, and it can be difficult to ever trust your partner again. If you're struggling to move on from your partner's infidelity, here are a few things that you can do to help yourself heal. 1. Talk about what happened with a trusted friend or therapist. It can be helpful to have someone to talk to who understands what you're going through. 2. Seek professional help if you're having difficulty forgiving your partner or rebuilding trust. A therapist can help you work through your feelings and develop a plan for moving forward. 3. Take some time for yourself. This is a difficult time, and it's important to focus on taking care of yourself. Consider taking up a new hobby or activity that brings you joy. 4. Lean on your support system. Whether it's family, friends, or a support group for people who have experienced infidelity. Lean on those who care about you and want to see you heal and move on from this experience. Controlling behavior. One of the biggest turn-offs in a relationship is when one person tries to control the other. This can manifest in a number of ways, from constantly needing to know where your partner is and what they're doing. Trying to dictate how they dress or what hobbies they pursue. It's important to remember that we all have different needs when it comes to space and independence. That trying to control someone else is only going to breed resentment. If you're feeling suffocated in your relationship, talk to your partner about it and see if there's a way to find a happy compromise. Abusive behavior is a huge turnoff in any relationship. Unfortunately, it can be all too easy to fall into patterns of abuse, especially if one or both partners have a history of abusive relationships. It's important to seek help from a professional to identify the patterns of abuse and learn healthy ways to communicate with your partner. If you're not ready to seek professional help, there are still some things you can do to start breaking the cycle of abuse. Be honest with yourself about the problem. Denying that there's a problem will only make it worse. Talk to your partner about your concerns. It's important to be direct and honest while also being respectful. Set boundaries with your partner. If they continue to exhibit abusive behaviors, make it clear that those behaviors are not acceptable and that you will not tolerate them. Seek support from friends or family members who can offer emotional support and practical advice. Get involved in an abusive relationship support group or therapy program where you can learn more about healthy relationships and how to cope with difficult emotions. Addictions. Addictions of any kind can be a major turnoff in a relationship. If your partner is addicted to drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, or anything else, it makes it difficult to move forward. If you're in a relationship with someone who is struggling with addiction, you may feel like you're walking on eggshells. You may be constantly worrying about what they're doing and whether or not they're going to relapse. This can take a toll on your mental and emotional health. It's important to remember that addiction is a disease. It's not something that your partner can just snap out of. If they're going to recover, they need professional help and support. If you cannot complete a relationship with someone who is fighting addiction, consult someone before making a decision. There are many resources available to both partners in an addicted relationship. With the right help, it is possible to overcome the challenges posed by addiction and build a healthy, lasting relationship. Lack of trust. Can you imagine being in a relationship with someone whom you can't trust? It would be pretty awful, right? Unfortunately, lack of trust is one of the most common turnoffs in a relationship, and it can ruin its future if not addressed. When we don't trust our partner, it creates a lot of tension and insecurity in the relationship. We may start to question their every move and wonder if they're really being truthful with us. This can lead to arguments and resentment, which are definitely not conducive to a happy and healthy relationship. If you're struggling with trust issues in your relationship, it's important to communicate openly with your partner about what's going on. Try to identify the root of the problem and work together to find a solution. With a little effort and understanding, you can overcome this obstacle and build a stronger bond with your partner. Never express any admiration. If you're in a relationship, it's important to be mindful of the things you say and do around your partner. One thing you should never do is express any admiration for someone other than your partner. Your partner is the most important person in your life, and they should be the only one you admire. If you start admiring other people, it will only serve to make your partner feel insecure and threatened. This can quickly lead to resentment and conflict in the relationship. So, if you want to keep your relationship strong and healthy, make sure you never express any admiration for anyone other than your partner. It might not seem like a big deal, but it can really make a difference in how your partner feels about themselves and the relationship as a whole. They attempt to make you jealous. One of the biggest turn-offs in a relationship is when someone tries to make you jealous. This can be done in a number of ways, such as flirting with other people in front of you, talking about exes, or trying to make you feel like you're not good enough. Not only is this behavior immature and selfish, but it's also a surefire way to ruin any chance of a future relationship. If you're dating someone who attempts to make you jealous, it's best to move on and find someone who will appreciate and respect you for who you are. Conclusion. When it comes to turn-offs in a relationship, there are a few that can ruin its future. One of the biggest turn-offs is when one partner is always taking control and the other feels powerless. This often leads to arguments and resentment, which can eventually destroy the relationship. Another big turn-off is when one partner consistently threatens or openly bullies the other. This creates an environment of fear and mistrust, which can erode the bond between partners. Finally, constantly putting your partner down or making them feel less than equal will only create animosity and division. If you want your relationship to thrive, it's important to avoid these destructive behaviors.